friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video today I wanted to walk around and show you what my winter garden was looking like. It is been actually unusually warm here in Toronto, and I garden here in Canada, in Toronto, in zone 6, and I love posting about my garden, and I wanted to actually walk around and show you what's happening in the garden. It's January the 5th today, and we've had unusually warm weather, so a lot of my grass is still green. I still see a lot of leaves on plants, which is unusual, but I just wanted to show you what structure I have in the garden right now. And this is my front garden bed, so I'll walk around and I'll show you. I do have some evergreens here. I also have a beautiful yew shrub here, as well as some boxwoods, a euonymus, and all kinds of evergreen structure plants here, which have been in this front foundation for a long time. I think as old as this house, so I still have those, but I did plant a lot of new things in the spring of last year, and I am so thrilled everything is doing well. I do also see a lot of of my bulbs peeking through, so I think it's just because the weather has been unusually warm. I do also have leaves on this. All my roses have leaves still on them, which is not unusual. I mean, some of the roses are quite cold resistant, so I think over time, as the winter progresses, they will lose all their leaves. So there are still a lot of green leaves all over. I do have leaves on my lavender. This is phenomenal lavender. As you can see, I haven't done any cleanup in my garden because I just love leaving everything the way it is for overwintering insects and little critters here and there. But I've also been noticing the front foundation has been looking a little bit messy, so I might come around and tackle a few things just to neaten it a bit, but it's really not looking that terrible. I love how the branching adds a nice winter interest to the garden, and the trees and shrubs all support what's going on. So lots of green still, as you can see, and it's really unusual at this time of the year to see so many green things. But it's nice to see that there are green things. It kind of almost feels like you still have a garden, and that's the important aspect of having evergreens and shrubs, because they provide that structure in the garden. And I also have a few more shrubs here that are providing structure. This is my quick fire standard hydrangea, which I planted last year in the spring, and it is adding a lovely structure to this garden. I still have coral bells that are heucheras that are still looking like they are just as they looked in the spring last year. So they have all their leaves, and they can be evergreen. In my weather they usually die back, but because of the warm weather they've been around and they're looking really green, and so is my creeping phlox. It's also looking quite green, and my rock garden here has been quite green here as well. I have the sedum that is just creeping and looking beautiful actually right now, and lots of color in this this rock garden here today. So I can't believe it is still looking so nice, and I haven't done any cleanup, but it's still looking really nice. This is all of my annuals that have died, and I haven't cleaned that up, so it's something I might do this week if the weather is still good, or I'll just leave it and clean it up in the spring. There is also little daffodil heads peeking through the soil there, and it's nice to see that. And yeah, I'm excited about spring, but it's also nice to see what the winter garden is looking like. I also have lots of creeping thyme that's still alive and it's doing its thing, and I like that it's staying mostly evergreen, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, the garden is looking really nice. I'm going to walk over now to the backyard and show you what's happening there as well. I haven't done any cleanup in terms of picking up any of my leaves, but it's just nice to experience the winter garden the way it is. I love it. Here's my lavender, which needs a good amount of pruning in the spring, but it's kind of flopping over now. But a lot of the plants are, you know, they're structurally looking pretty okay. I mean, they're adding interest. I love leaving my sedums, sedum heads, and with snow on it, they look really pretty. Right now, everything is melted. It's been very damp here with all the rain that we've got. The candy tuft that I planted all around over here is pretty much evergreen. It has all its leaves and it's looking really pretty. I still have a lot of my leaves on the beds. I haven't cleaned those up. My lanterns are like strewn about with all the wind, but that's okay. I'm gonna come out here and do a bit of cleanup. And my rhododendron here, this is English roseum, is I think developing some of its flower buds, so I'm excited. And it's been getting a lot of rain, so I think it's going to be okay. I have a Pieris japonica here, which is evergreen as well, and it's nice to see its leaves. I know it's still young, but I'm excited for when this becomes bigger and it's going to add a nice structure in this part of the garden. And I still have leaves on my oak leaf hydrangeas, which is quite interesting. And here it is, a damp, soggy mess of leaves and you know, plants resting underneath it, and it's kind of interesting to see the sea of leaves. I mean, they are just so damp and just there. I have my autumn fern here, autumn brilliance fern. It's looking so nice. It's supposed to be an evergreen fern, so it's nice to see that they are evergreen and still green in this garden, and it's lovely to see them. I also have a bunch of hellebores here, which are also evergreen, and they're looking nice. I can't wait for these to spread and do their thing in this part of the garden, in my woodland garden, and it's exciting to see that. I have a bunch more hellebores here as well, and some in here as well, so it's going to be nice to see them bloom. Maybe not all of them will bloom this spring because some of them are young, so it takes a few years for them to start blooming. And I really am enjoying all of this green here right now. As you can see, it's covered in green. It's covered in brown leaves all over, but that's okay. I think come spring, a lot of these leaves will be dried and shriveled, and it'll be fine. It'll act as a mulch in these beds, and I will move them from all of my growing plants as I do the cleanup. So again, this is a Rose of Sharon standard. This is a blue satin. So this one is also azuri blue, I think, azuri blue satin, and it's also adding a nice structure in this part of the garden. And here is another look at the rest of the garden from here. As you can see, I don't have a lot of evergreen interest in my backyard garden other than the hellebores and the fern, and I also have a couple of mugo pines that I planted here in the fall last year, and they will grow and they will add that evergreen interest here. But I do plan to add some boxwoods in the backyard here, just so that I can have some structure here in terms of evergreen shrubs. So I will add that, I think, this season, and add some of that structure in here. And I'm also waiting for my rhododendrons to grow bigger, and these will add a nice evergreen structure here as well. I don't see too many buds on this rhododendron here. We'll see if it flowers or not. It's still pretty young, and I'm just happy that it's decided to you know, stay alive and do its thing, and I will keep an eye on it this season as well. This was looking a little bit sad in the fall last year. and I'm hoping that it does well in the spring here. So yeah, the garden is looking really good for this time of the year. It's nice to come out here and see some green and what's happening here in the garden. So I just wanted to take you along and show you what this garden looks like, so we can contrast in the spring when things start to change what this would look like. And also, you know, a few new things that I've added, how they're doing. This is again another PRS that is also going to be beautiful here when it grows bigger and add that evergreen structure in the garden. So it's looking really nice, and I just wanted to bring you along. There's also heucheras here that are still having their leaves and looking great. So with that, I wanted to give you a quick tour of my garden on this beautiful January day, and wish everyone a very happy new year. And I'm looking forward to the new season of gardening and what it brings. And I hope everyone is having a fabulous day wherever you're joining me from. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.